Hello, it's Echo. I am alive. I am alive. Alive, I tell you. I am officially back in Phoenix for a while. Arizona. So now let's go over what's happening today for this video. So I sent out a tweet. I asked everyone who their favorite artist to follow on Twitter was, and I followed like a ton of artists. And I got super inspired. And then I was like, you know what? I want to make an OC. I want to make an original character because I haven't done that in like forever. Can you hear the birds? Freaking birds. The birds are just gonna make noises through this video. We're just gonna deal with it. Have in mind there are tons of methods for making original characters. This is just a method that I am inventing right now. Other artists may have done this before in the past. I don't know, I didn't bother researching it because I just kind of ended up flying off by the seat of my pants, and this is what we're gonna do together, you and I, as a collective hive mind. We're gonna make a hive mind original character, an HMOC. I'm gonna be like the director and coordinator, and I'm gonna work with all of you guys to make a massive collective effort. When I first started this, I threw 4 polls up on my Twitter just asking about some like general characteristics for this character. But I wanted to give you guys a little bit more control than that, so then I did a live stream and I had a bunch of polls, and then we all like worked together to make this massive list of characteristics, and I'm gonna work them into an original character. When you're making an original character, there are also these things called character sheets. If you Google them, you can find hundreds. I'll link a couple in the description. It asks you what their favorite color is. It asks you how tall they are. It asks you what their favorite food is. Because when you're making an original character, if you iron out all of these little details, then you get to know your character very well, and it's easier to write stories for them. So now we're gonna sketch out this character and find out what he looks like. At the end of this video, once we have like a finalized drawing, I want you guys to suggest names for this character and his animal companion. I'm gonna pick a bunch that I like, and we're gonna make a Twitter poll. So on my Twitter, you will be able to vote for the official names of this character and their character companion. Oh, this is magic excitement! Are you ready? Are you excited? Let's go to the overhead. So first of all, we're gonna go through the polls and pick out the ones that will actually make a difference for these first initial sketches. From Twitter, that is that he has short and curly hair, and that his personality type is oblivious and quiet. His personality type is important for these initial sketches because it's going to determine his pose and his facial expressions. I think physically I'm going to draw him as like roughly 17 because that was the second most voted on answer, but his canon age is over 900. His hobbies are black magic and photography, based on the polls for first and secondary interests. I wanted to make him half human, so I threw up a bunch of half dragon, half demon, half phoenix, half ghost, but right now it is completely split down the middle for half dragon and half demon. For body type, about a third of people selected curvy. For an animal companion, the main selected one was fox, and then the secondary one was phoenix, and then in terms of extra embellishments, the top 3 were freckles, glasses, and tattoos. In general, having too much stuff can make a character extremely busy, so I'm probably going to make some of these things extremely subtle, but we'll go ahead and start with a basic sketch. So first of all, as the polls were slowly concluding and like things were having like overwhelming majorities, I did a couple brief sketches just for ideas. Because he's half dragon, I like the idea of him being able to breathe fire, and I feel like his fox companion should also be like a phoenix fox. Also because as a demon dragon, he's probably immune to fire. Because wings were so far down on the extra embellishments poll, I'm actually not going to include wings. But because he's a demon dragon, I still like the idea of him being able to just kind of float. I think I'm gonna kind of go off of this tiny sketch that I've got here. His legs are a bit too thin, so I might change his pants a little bit. I want to have a little bit of contrast, so I want to have him with either small thighs and large calves, or large thighs and small calves. I'm gonna actually give him large calves. Because I draw so light, the color balance on this is probably gonna look really weird. I feel like that's a good body position. He's in his 960s, so I like the idea of him trying to figure out how phones work. So because the mythical part of this ended up being completely split, I've decided to give him like a human form and also like a full demon dragon form. So this is going to be him trying to blend in with normal society, and this is going to be him not even caring. This is going to come together much better when I actually do it in color. I kind of like the idea of him wearing leggings because it's what they used to wear in like the 19th century or something. I figure if he has tattoos, they're hidden, and I'm also gonna say he doesn't like wearing his glasses, but he does need them. Less is more, guys. Less is more. So the last thing that I need is his little sidekick character. I'm going to make his little phoenix fox companion kind of like floating fire. And it's going to be a little bit easier to make that in Photoshop, I think. I'm also going to make this fox extremely hella mythical, so the fox's head isn't attached to its body. At this point I just have to add ink, so I'm just gonna like do some speed footage of that because this requires intense amounts of focus for me. So now that I've got all the physical stuff I want to do, I'm going to start working on it in Photoshop. After I get my drawings into Photoshop, the first thing that I usually do is clean up the line art. I've actually made an entire video about my process for this, so if you would like to see that, then I will post a bunch of links to it. When that is done, I go ahead and grab a bunch of random highly saturated colors and I start defining the color area so that I can have a layer for each color. Whatever color it is really doesn't matter because it's kind of just a placeholder color. Honestly, I think the main reason that artists do this is so they can just organize layers in Photoshop, because defining the color area is kind of just manual labor when it comes to art, and actually choosing your color palette is something you can do afterwards. The majority of people on the Twitter poll for hair color voted for him to have white hair, so I chose kind of like a tanned olive skin tone because I feel like that'll complement it very well. And then in terms of his clothes, most people voted black and gray, but it was almost a perfect tie with teal and pink. So I decided to make most of his clothes black and gray with a hint of teal and pink just because the vote was so close. Also, I just can't do fire in Photoshop. Every time I try, it's just an absolute failure. So this fox just kind of looks like it's covered with electric fur, which is fine. And then the last thing that I'm doing here is actually the background, and I figured I could go ahead and make that an icy blue because most people voted for that to be his favorite color. When you look at the whole thing, it has a very like fire and ice feel, which is really cool. Looking at the end result, I feel like I could have made him a bit more curvy. I might change the way that I'm drawing his pants a bit later so that I can more accurately have him fit the curvy body type. I might come back to this later and add shadows, but for now I kind of like the solid block colors. So here he is, our wonderful hive mind character. Stare deep into his soul. Love him as I loved him. You beautiful creature. That was fun. Thank you for tuning in. If I like the way that this process works, I might do it again. I think it's a fun idea to make like character design live streams. It's like a crazy hive mind OC. I'm gonna give you 750 awesome points for making it to the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Usually I live stream on Sunday in the afternoon on my second channel, Echo is Weird. So if I do this again, that is where you're going to get access to the polls. Are you okay, Duke? Do you want to go out? I can let you out if you want. Please comment with a suggested name for this character and his companion, and then I will choose the ones that I like the best or that are the most common, and I will post a poll on Twitter. Twitter.com/echoisweird. Stop chewing on your feet. And then we will officially have our original character. Subscribe to this channel if you want to see more of this junk. Also comment and let me know what you think about this whole process, because if people like it, then I'm probably gonna do it again. Mental health update. I am going to be making a video about that at a later point. I have plans around the whole mental health thing. I'm gonna be working on that later, so don't worry about that. That's just a future thing. I think that's everything, and hopefully I will see you guys later. Bye. I wanna hold you, I wanna run in a stream, I'm alive.